weekend. Engines are overloading. More power.
We're superheating. Heater mix temperature 7,400 degrees. 7.5. 7.6. 8,000 degrees. 2,000 degrees above maximum. 8.4. 8.5. 8.6. She'll blow soon.
Now, Mr. Sulu, impulse power 2.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Northrup. This is Peter Lynn. Welcome to another episode of Practical AI. Today's topic, Peter, it's a simple question. Is there enough power on the planet to power all of the training and running of the AI machine learning process?
So the short answer is yes, and the long answer is no. It's yes, because on the planet, we have a lot of energy, but at any given time, a data center only has access to a certain amount of power.
Okay, so we've got to train models. We've got to use them once they're trained. Tell me a little bit about how the power distribution in training versus using a model.
So most of the energy is used for training. For example, OpenAI has to train GPT for 6 to 8 months, nonstop. So that's just thousands and thousands of GPUs running for that amount of time, and that's the NVIDIA says it takes about 2 kilowatts per hour per GPU.
Okay. And for those of us that don't spend a lot of time in the power universe, is that a lot?
Well, so that's basically like as much as, so one GPU running for 24 hours is probably equivalent to a couple households.
Okay. And how many GPUs are there training, did you say?
That was probably in between 2 and 10,000. They don't really say how many they're using,
Okay.
but it's a lot.
It's a lot. Okay. And since everybody's going AI crazy, there's just more and more demand for power for training.
Yep.
Okay. So, what's the usage then when it's just I'm querying ChatGPT, I'm asking it a question?
Well, so if you type in the prompt, right, it takes a couple of seconds for it to generate and then respond. If we compare that to Google search, all the searches usually finish within 2 milliseconds. So that means the actual time it took to run the query is less than a millisecond. So we're looking at least 1, if not 3 orders of magnitude slower to do a ChatGPT prompt search versus a Google search.
Okay, so if it's 2 seconds versus 2 milliseconds, that's 200 times or whatever the math is on that, right? 20 times.
Right. So that's a response time, but then the energy is also 200 times.
Okay. So it's the compared to regular search, it's more intensive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like anyone's going to stop getting addicted to building AI models and whatever, right? I mean, it seems like we're going down this path at a time when, energy seems to be all the rage, right? Like, where's all this energy going to come from? It's not like people are just going to stop, lighting their house.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of states like California, right, the last 10 years, they've had a lot of brownouts, right? Where the power utilities, Edison can't provide power sufficiently during peak hours, right? I mean, I remember a few years during the summertime, Edison was like, hey, there's going to be brownouts. But the thing is the brownouts are just for commercial customer, not they're for consumers, but the commercial customers have priority.
Mhm.
So like your Googles, your Amazons, they don't have to worry about brownouts.
They're first in line
Yes. Yeah.
or second, but well ahead of me and you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an article from the Register. We'll put this in the discussion box. So here we go. Everyone's claiming they're needing more power, but they also need the ability to cool all of these racks that are consuming and just churning more and more power, right?
Yeah. In fact, Google uses machine learning models to optimize the cooling. And over the last 15 years, they've managed to reduce the cost of cooling by about 20% using AI models.
Okay.
And they don't state how much they save, but it's in the tens of millions per quarter.
And is there a good reason why people don't put these processing centers in the Arctic?
Mainly because of latency. Like if you put all your servers in Alaska, if I'm in Boston and I do a search, you don't want it to go all the way to Alaska, run the query, return the result. You want it to go to like Virginia or New York or someplace close.
So the primary loss there is speed.
Yep.
Okay. There's another article here with this was on Good Jobs First. This gets into like the states and the government are addicted to these data centers, right? They love them to the point where they're passing out massive subsidies
Yeah.
for to essentially, if you just looked at it from an energy perspective, they're giving subsidies to entities to use more energy
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
millions and millions of dollars. Like Facebook got 80 million here for their data center in DeKalb.
Yeah. And actually, it's common for data centers to be built next to hydro plants where they'll go to like I think Oregon has some where I think it's either Microsoft or Google went and said, hey, we need a new data center. You've got this river and you've got a hydro plant that's not really serving too many people. We'll build a data center close to it. We'll help you kind of beef up or modernize that hydro plant. And then you give us a deal on energy.
I mean, how soon until Google is building its own nuclear plant?
Well, so there's a common joke that like data centers should go to Arizona or New Mexico and just build huge solar farms to get free electricity. And you could, but then the cost of cooling goes way up because you're in Arizona.
Right. It's much better for the put it this way, if the states are going to pay them a subsidy, right? And then build them a plant. I mean, I'm sure Google and Facebook don't want to be in the business of power. Just let someone else have that headache. Just give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, back to the training then. If we continue down this path and people are still training models and still using these these models for their AI purposes, won't we hit a power roadblock someday in the future?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, in science fiction, there's a couple of science fiction novels that proposes the idea of putting data centers in outer space. And then you just set up like huge solar farms in outer space pointing at the sun.
But then you'd have latency problem, right?
Well, no. So the idea is that like you would train these super AI models in outer space for doing stuff related to like being a multi-planet society where now you can do like really insane science fiction stuff.
Okay. I mean, we probably have to start solutioning that direction pretty soon, don't we?
Well, I hope not, because I mean we can't keep burning electricity. It's
No, right. That's what I mean. We have to think outside of the current box that we're in, right?
yeah,
We
yep,
may need to look at space, or I don't know. I don't know where this is going to come from, but
yeah.
we can't even get a windmill to create enough power to make a windmill.
Yeah, I mean it's so part of it will be companies like Nvidia will have to figure out how to make more efficient chips.
Yeah.
So that you can do the same calculations, but only do it with half or maybe a tenth of the energy you use today.
Or maybe we should make machine learning use less data and smaller models.
Yep, that would be nice.
All right. Well, this will be a fun topic to keep an eye on, but I suggest, or I recommend to everybody to watch this, because this is like we've got a narrative going the different direction than the machine learning world is going. Machine learning world is going for more power, more
Yeah.
usage, and everyone else is being asked to use less. So
Yeah, and they purposely don't mention this because they don't want people to worry about like, oh, you're gonna take up all the electricity and then we're all gonna have brownouts because you're using it all.
yeah, I mean, I gathered that to a certain degree, some of those brownouts in California, it just might be due to GPT being trained for a long time, right? And one bit of clarity, Peter, you have to keep training these things, right? It's not like you train it once and then you use it. It's like perpetual training, right?
We have to because the internet's always got more data, right? So we could ChatGPT says this is the model since 2021. Well, it's 2023. You got more data.
So they'll fire that up if they're not already, right?
You have to continually retrain.
Okay. Well, this is a good topic. We'll keep an eye on it. Peter, thanks for giving us a little insight into the power usage in the AI space. Be sure to follow and subscribe, and we'll keep you up to date with the latest topics in the AI space. Take care, everybody.